before we go into the different topics, I was wondering, maybe you could just tell us a little bit about SELA. I know you're a well-known company here in Saudi Arabia, but for those from, overseas, at the end of the day, almost 70% of the people here are from outside Saudi. So if you could tell us more about SELA, that would be great to start.
SELA is a company that started a long time ago, 25 years ago, as an athlete representation agency here in Saudi Arabia. Our focus was mainly to marry athletes with local football clubs back then in 1997. During our second life cycle, which was around 2005, we've pivoted into the commercialization market of trying to commercialize sports properties here in the kingdom. We've done so for quite a bit of time, and then we've basically grown into being one of the leading organizations working in sports, entertainment, culture, hospitality, and leisure within the kingdom.
Well, I think for those that are outside, probably the name sounds familiar because SELA was, has become a partner for Newcastle United, which was announced this year earlier. I was wondering, why did you decide to sponsor the club?
Well, I think the period that we're in within the company's life cycle is a completely new period. Today, we have grown into a company that welcomes around 15 million people into our experiences per annum, whether it's to one of our events, one of our destinations. So overall, our brand resonates a lot with the local community. We're at a phase where we are expanding internationally outside of the borders of the kingdom. So we've thought about, how do we put our brand out there? How do we go from backstage to the front of stage and to showcase our brand to a market, which was, namely in this case, was a UK market, a market that requires a big bang for us to showcase, and it's very on brand, by the way, with SELA, that we're not traditional. We just go with something that is unorthodox to showcase our brand. So we've looked at sponsorship opportunities. Newcastle was, first of all, an up-and-coming football brand, a sleeping giant, basically. Obviously, with what's happened in the last year and a half or 2 years, they've went from a relegation battle to being a Champions League club. It was a very exciting journey. We wanted to be a part of that journey, and we wanted to be a part of the next chapter of the club. And again, for us, it all started with football. So even though we've grown into different areas, but it all started with football. Football stays within our DNA, and it's something that is very close to our hearts.
Yeah, I was thinking because, at the end of the day, SELA's been around since 1997, no? So it's a brand that knows space, and you've worked with top tier, not only in football top tier brands, but in sports. For example, WWE is an example. So it's interesting to see that shift, that change in mindset, no? And then I'm also thinking, Newcastle is a brand with a strong legacy, no? So it's interesting how you're matching both things together. Now, again, going back to what I was mentioning before, the options available to sponsor, I'm sure there were many. So why was Newcastle the option that you chose?
For 3 main reasons. One, their vision and their ambition typically matches our vision and ambition. Mm-hmm. So it was a good match. 2 is because of our international expansion, and because it puts us in a position where we can showcase our brand internationally, and there's no better way to do that than with a Premier League club. And we lucked out that the club is actually participating in the Champions League this season. Number 3, Newcastle, of course, has an increasing popularity in the kingdom, and that increasing popularity gives us an opportunity, obviously, to sponsor a platform that resonates with the local community as well, and is very popular here locally. So it made sense on both fronts, on the international front and on the local front as well.
Yeah, I think it did, because at the end of the day, it matches the time when the Newcastle brand is increasing internationally as well, when you're shifting the mindset, and then you're just riding the momentum of football becoming even more popular in Saudi. It already was, but this is reaching a whole nother level, no? So I think it's all those factors combining. It was a unique moment to enter, and the property in Newcastle is just, again, as we said, a legacy brand, no? So how has the experience been so far?
Well, to say that it's been exciting is honestly an understatement. It's been an experience, and it's been a journey. We're still, to be honest, we're still at the beginning of the journey. We're working very closely with the club. We started to get to know each other in terms of the deal happened very quickly, so we wanted to find ways so we can collaborate very quickly. On a day-to-day level, we're working closely with the club to find opportunities that elevates different experiences and components that we can contribute to in general. So it's been a very exciting journey so far, and we're looking forward to the next period with the club.
Yeah, definitely. That's what I was going to say. You know, it's not only about how it started, but how it's going to evolve. No, it seems going to be very interesting. And I guess once you sign these partnerships, obviously you have to activate them. No, so this year Newcastle returns to the Champions League. No, and you know, it's been 20 years since the club is playing in the Champions League, so there's a lot of excitement. And to celebrate that, you put on an amazing drone show, which I think you know, we can share with the audience a video of that drone show. So please.
Newcastle is alive again. Newcastle is united again. Newcastle is once again ambitious. That's all our fans want. They've got their football club back.
Fan engagement is really important to Newcastle United Football Club. We feel with SELA as a partner, given their experience in the event industry and the extravaganzas they put on around the globe, mean they're a really good fit for us as we look to build the club.
This is someone else. You've never seen anything like this before.
Newcastle United are back in action. The drone show was even more impressive.
A football-themed drone show lit up St James's Park to celebrate Newcastle United's first Champions League home tie in 20 years.
There were spectacular scenes above St James's Park last night as a football-themed drone show marked the club's return to the Champions League.
What a moment for Newcastle United fans.
One of the best things I've ever seen.
These fantastic drone holograms will be back in Newcastle tonight.
That was a never-seen-before idea, and it really showcased SELA and their spectacular everyday strategy. UEFA themselves posted this content, which is unusual ahead of a Champions League match. From a social perspective, we had a 340% uplift in our engagement.
This is what football is all about.
Everyone could see how aligned and joined the two partners were by celebrating our return to the Champions League. SELA and Newcastle were enhancing the Champions League experience.
Before the drones made a statement about the club's Champions League return with the phrase, "We're back."
Interesting. So yes, I guess after seeing this video, the question is, why did you put on this drone show, and how did people react to it?
Several reasons, honestly, but I think first of all, we wanted to showcase what SELA's promise to the club and to the fans and to the wider football community within the new city of Newcastle and the UK is all about. We wanted to showcase what we can do. We wanted to give a taste of spectacular before the Champions League match. We understood that there was a stop Newcastle being within the Champions League for around 20 years. We wanted to showcase that we understand how big of a milestone that is to the club, how big of a milestone that is to the fans, and we wanted to share that excitement because we were truly and genuinely excited about that return.
Definitely, and now that you mentioned that, I mean, to me, I've always thought about the experience in the match as one of the key differentiators of sports versus other forms of entertainment. You know, so when I'm a fan, either probably the only reason why I decide to go to a match is because the experience is going to be worth it, rather than me being at home, watching a film, watching the match at home with whoever, no? So the experience has to be great. So knowing about your expertise in that area, what would you say are the key success factors to deliver a top-notch entertainment experience at a stadium?
I think first of all you have to look at the market and you have to look at the fans' behavior and what they expect in terms of experiences and how do you elevate on that. So if you go to the American market, experiences within sports facilities and sports venues and sports events is very different to Europe and is very different to Saudi and the Middle East in general. So overall, it's all about packaging something that is very interesting and very exciting to the fans. At the end of the day, experiences and sports events in general are very emotional, very sentimental. You want to ensure that the whole package overall has to beat staying at home and watching a sports event on TV. So the sporting component is obviously one of the biggest components for sure, but of course you bundle it with everything around it and provide a comprehensive experience that everyone enjoys and hopefully remembers for a very long time. I think the opening of the Club World Cup last night is a very, very good example. You can ask someone who has watched it on TV, they most likely enjoyed it. You ask someone who went to the stadium, they most likely loved it because they enjoyed the fireworks, pyro, the opening show, live music, and then of course the football afterwards.
Yeah, agree. And it's a matter of, you know, all those elements coming together that create a long-lasting memory, you know, and who you were there and some of the team members when we had the opportunity to go to the match, and I think for them it's going to be, you know, I was there with colleagues of the team, and then, you know, the experience there. It's just amazing, no? And I'm a marketing guy, and I always like to. One of the things that I really like to do is look at copy of how different brands work their taglines and all of that. No, and in your case, it was spectacular every day. So, what does that really mean in practice? Because obviously words are words, but I would like to understand how you're trying to, you know, use that tagline to elevate the positioning of Newcastle and its brand as well and its experience.
Absolutely. We basically develop and conceptualize experiences, and we have destinations that are predominantly entertainment destinations in the kingdom here for now. So what our promise is to deliver at least an additional layer of value, an additional layer of extraordinary to everyone that has a touch point with any of our events or projects or destinations overall. And this is basically why we came up with Spectacular Every Day. If it's something that we are working on, we would like to ensure that you get a touch of spectacular with it.
Okay, good. And well, obviously, kind of let you go without asking you about the dream of hosting a World Cup here in Saudi Arabia. No, for the time being, the country is this whole bidder. So I just want to understand from you, what would it mean for you, being from here, being involved in a Saudi company, to have a World Cup being played in Saudi Arabia?
Well, first of all, I think as a football fan, obviously the excitement is not something that we can put into words. I don't think, personally, I never thought that a moment like this would happen in the kingdom during my lifetime. Of course, obviously all of the support that the industry gets from the leadership is something that is unprecedented, something very well appreciated, and of course nothing can happen without the leadership's support. Overall, of course, we're extremely excited about having the World Cup here. It's in 11 years, so we're still far away from the World Cup. We have, I think in the next period, it needs to be officially given to Saudi first of all. So far it hasn't been, Saudi is the only nominee, but it hasn't been officially given to Saudi. And then hopefully we'll move on to the next phase. And obviously as practitioners, as a company, and overall as lovers of sport, we will want to be a part of it one way or another.
Yeah, I mean, obviously there's still a long way to go. It still needs to become official, but just the ambition to get there. I think it's also driving a lot of initiatives now that the country as a whole is going to benefit from. No, so it's interesting. Well, anyway, yeah, thank you so much, Ibrahim, for this talk. I hope you guys enjoyed it up there, get a better sense of their partnership with Newcastle, and let's see how it evolves. It'll be interesting to see. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.